What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, my steady steppers? Back with another lit live interview. We're about to send out our invite. Here we go, Mr. Henry McDavid. I just sent him his invite. And we got some gems because as you guys know, let me get it together. Cause Destin not all the way together right now. So we're gonna cancel that. What's up? How y'all doing? It's Saturday. It's the what is this like? Let me see if I get the name dropping on stuff that isn't even analytically correct. Let's not do that. Let's check the facts first. Let's always check the facts. I'm gonna double check, triple check, quadruple check the facts. This is like really the first full week in January. What y'all been doing? What y'all been doing, Steady Steppers? What have you guys been doing? Let me see. What y'all been doing? Have you guys been setting the tone right? Y'all been setting the momentum right? I still been adjusting, still been getting it together. Cause guess what? One thing's for sure, two things for certain. We know change don't come overnight. So it has to be slowly every day. We call that gradual change. So every day you gotta do a little bit that's gonna push you to where you need to be for tomorrow. Every day just a little bit. You know that song? Just a little bit. Hey. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna invite you again. I'm not sure what happened. Let's see. What's going on, Mr. Henry? I'm pushing to get you in here. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. It said the invite was sent. I was saying invite to watch. Let's see how I add you though. Guest request. Here we go. Oh, okay. So we have a little bit of technical difficulties, but guess what? We here. We are not giving up, and we are doing what we need to do to stay consistent and stay great. As you guys know, I did have an evaluation on my podcast from somebody I didn't know, and he gave me some amazing feedback. It was like towards the end of the year. It was like mid-December, and he asked me some questions that I didn't ask myself. And it was about the podcast, and he was asking really what is the direction of my podcast, what do I want to get out of my podcast, and what do I want, more importantly, you guys as my viewers and as my listeners to get out of my podcast. And from what I started initially in my mind that it was going to be, it wasn't really that. And in the sense is, I was saying that I wanted it to be for entrepreneurs who are in a place of stagnation, not knowing kind of where their next move needs to be, where they want to go in the field or aspect of entrepreneurship. And when he asked me these questions and I really began to think about what I created a podcast, it wasn't just for successful entrepreneurs. It's about people that are successful in life, period. Because a lot of people are still successful in their life even though they're not entrepreneurs, because as we know, everybody doesn't want to be an entrepreneur. So if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, you can still work or build something great and be just as successful, because success is a mental thing. It's not just monetary, but it's more so mental, that you're happy in what you do. Here we go. Let's go. Mr. Henry.
Hey. All right, let's see what. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you loud and clear. How you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. I had to jump on my phone. My tablet kept saying I need to update my app. It said the app is up to date, so I don't know.
That's right. We're gonna do whatever we have to do to be great out here. You know?
Absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna do the intro again since you already in, because I was just on here kind of giving them a little intro about the restructuring of the podcast. But let's get this lit podcast underway. What's up, 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 my steady steppers? We are back with another lit podcast. It's the first podcast of the year of 2022. So we coming out with heat and we just executing this year. We execute, and that's all I can really say. So, Mr. Henry, could you give him a quick intro of who you are? Because a lot of people I don't know if anybody on my platform know you.
Bet. My name is Brother Henry. They call me CEO Brother Henry. I own several different businesses, but most importantly, I'm also a business coach. So I teach, service providers how to make more money working less. But most importantly, I have a school called Kiefer's Entrepreneurial Academy. It's revolutionizing education in the country, spreading like wildfire. Pretty much all of the students who attend my school have to start small businesses that generate revenue, and they also have to publish a minimum of 1 book a year. Kindergarten through high school, it's private school, so it is, math, science, all your basics, but entrepreneurship on top of that, and then on top of that, like STEM, foreign language, computer science, art, gym, Black history, all those types of things as well. So it's really catching fire, and man, I'm excited about it, man. Like that's it, man. It ain't about me. It's about them babies out there. We impacting lives, man. It's a beautiful thing.
That's right. Well, hey, I'm finna pick your brain there because I obviously can tell you're on a mission, and you sound like you're definitely living in your purpose,
man.
So, Mr. Henry, we're gonna go up before the school and everything. Tell us who you were before you, because have you always wanted to be an entrepreneur, like since you've been in grade school, or like where did that idea of entrepreneurship start for you?
Man, look, funny story, right? So when I wrote my first book, I was like researching my life, like going back over stuff, what happened, whatever. And I found out that I had been fired from over 25 jobs before I got to the point, right? I'm talking your Walmarts, your Lowe's, telemarketing, factories. I was a police officer at one point, fired from everything, right?
Wow.
And I came to this conclusion that the universe kept sending me the same message over and over, but I just wasn't ready to hear it yet. I couldn't see the message that was being sent. It was like, fool, you need to be your own boss, but I couldn't hear it. So I went back to another application, got fired. You need to be your own boss. Went back, got another application. So it's crazy when you ask that question. I remember in high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, statute of limitations. Let me say that off the top, right? When I was in high school, some of my cousins, I'm out in Illinois, so all my family out in Chicago. So I had a bunch of family from Chicago move down to where we were staying, and they all work at this store. And the lady that they work for was like, oh, the cameras don't work, whatever, woo, so we're trying to get it fixed. And so when they told me that, they found that out, they was like, yo, you come up to the store, get anything you want. So my entrepreneurial mind already working, I started stashing all kind of stuff to the point where when you came to school, it was known that I was the dude that could get you anything on discount, right? Like candy bars, beef jerky, magazines, battery, cat food, dog food, anything the store had, I had. So I want to say maybe my sophomore year of high school, I didn't have books in my locker. I just had, if you open my locker, there was a price list going down the side of everything I was selling on discount. And I was selling to teachers, administration, the police, security, parents when they came to school. Like I had the lick. You need gummy worms? I got you here. Oh, they $1.50 at the store. I can get them to you for $1. You know what I mean? So I was making about $60 a day with hot products. And
right.
But there was nobody around me at that time to be like, yo, you got the entrepreneurial spirit. You got the right system, but you got the wrong product because you moving illegally. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, you take it from somebody else. Don't do that. Not good karma.
No, we all would be bosses if we could get free inventory. You know what I'm saying? So that was high school. That incident came and went. And then later, right out of high school, me and a couple of my guys, we had came across some DJ equipment. So we started a DJing service and a cleaning service. And we did that for a while, but DJing like house parties and clubs and stuff like that, like stuff was getting like either about to get shot up or fights and all the different type of stuff. So we didn't want to be in that atmosphere at that time. You know what I mean? So
Right.
after that, it was to the workforce. I tried college, but you know, college wasn't really for me. I got straight A's, but I still dropped out. I was like, nah, I ain't really feeling this. It ain't really me. So I just never went back.
Wow. So with the cleaning service, so you did the cleaning service like with some of your buddies along with the DJ service in high school? Or
Yeah.
that was like,
No, that was right after high school.
right after high school. Oh, so that was like between like high school and college?
Yeah, like 18, 19, like around that time. Yep.
Okay, so any of those guys that you did those joint business ventures with back then, do you guys still do any joint ventures now, or like you still in communication with any of those guys?
Yeah, those was all my day ones. I'm still in communication with me, and two of them speak like every day. The other one, he's out in Chicago, so I don't get to see him as much. But we don't do any joint ventures right now. But I suggested to them that we do a podcast and just talk about like life growing up, the stuff we went through, you know, stuff like that. So we may try to hook that up in the near future, but we're not doing any business together right now.
Oh wow. So what fields are they in now that kind of correlate to what you guys were doing back then, if any?
My best friend is a police officer. He worked at the same department I got fired from. Tried to fire me, but you know they couldn't. My other guy's a security guard. My other guy, he moved out to Colorado. I'm not sure what he does. I think he's a car salesman out there. And the other dude I think he works in a school or something like that. He might be a superintendent or something like that. I'm not sure. But no, I'm the entrepreneurial guy of the bunch of us that's on that path right now.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So they have a great example to look up to, you know?
Yeah. It's pretty dope.
That's amazing. So when you guys were doing these business ventures, I know there were some obstacles that came up. Give somebody some. Could you give me like 2 obstacles that came up that you guys had to work through?
Yeah. Well, for the cleaning service, we put the whole business together. Like I was the person in the business that was like in the background. So I would do like a paperwork, the research, line it up, you know, try to find us gigs, stuff like that. So for the cleaning service, by the time we finally got a customer, we was out of business, right? So because it's crazy, we didn't have anybody that ever taught us business, right? And this affected me. You'll see further on in the podcast. I never had nobody around me to teach me like business, right? So literally everything was trial and error. And all entrepreneurs should know that trial and error is the worst way to learn, right? So trial and error. You said what?
You were saying what's the worst way to learn?
Trial and error. Like try it out, and it's gonna cost you more money. It's gonna cost you more time. It's gonna cost you, you know, stuff that you may not come back from when you could just get a coach. And if you got a you know what I'm saying? You got the right coach, the right system. It's gonna save you years. You know.
So I don't mean to interrupt you.
No,
so
what
you're saying is, it's really best to spend that money on the front end, so you don't have to spend it on the back end.
Man, because you're gonna spend way more if you try to go through trial and error. I found that out personally. Is trial and error is, man, terrible way to become a businessman. Don't do what I did. Man.
So that's amazing. Oh yeah. So back to the question where so you were saying that y'all were already out of business before y'all even had y'all first client.
Yeah, because by the time the DJing was our main thing, right? But we figured if we DJ an event and then offer to clean afterwards, right, we can get paid twice in one event. So we can have 2 streams instead of 1, like that.
Right.
The problem was at that time, like we was doing like some of the smaller clubs at NIU. We was we was just hitting different areas like, a lot of house parties, like weddings and stuff like that. And most of these places we went, they already had somebody to clean, right? But we're also looking for clients outside of us DJing. So we finally got one, but I believe it was like commercial or something like that. And what they wanted us to do, we was like, man, we can't even afford to clean this place. Like the money we would have to put into the supplies to get the contract to make the money, we ain't got. We was all like 19, so unless we finna be donating plasma, selling dope or something, like we ain't coming up with that money. You know what I'm saying? So by the time we finally got that client, we just didn't have it, and it kind of dissolved from that point.
Oh wow. Okay, so with your mindset now, right, looking back on it, do you feel like if you guys would have maybe pulled together or found some resources to pull together, do you feel like that first big client would have really changed y'all life forever?
Man, that client would have changed. That client would have saved me headaches, heartache, stress, disappointment, depression. Man, like if I knew then what I know now, just a little bit of it, we could have made that thing work. It's one of those things about having faith, you know what I mean? And understanding something like that. As soon as they said, can you do the job? The answer should have been yes. And then figure it out as you go on the road. But we said yes, but we just didn't have the science to figure it out. Like, man, how are we going to make this happen? We don't have the money. And we just kind of left it at that. When I'm looking back at it, I definitely would have made that joint happen. I probably did it myself. I would have hired people to do it, paid them out of the money they was paying us, bought everything out of the money they was paying us, whatever's left over, even if it's a small percentage, it's still better than what I started with. I still made something.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, and what it sounds like to me, you had a shift in mindset, because that's where I'm at right now. And it's not always, we can always do the work, but I feel like our mind, because I know me personally, I'm going to speak for me. My mind will talk me out of so much before my body ever does.
Facts.
It will always do it.
Yeah. It's, man, mindset is everything. Mindset, like, the mindset is definitely everything. It's blurry. I think I made it worse.
Right. It's all good.
Mindset, everything, man. I had Bryn speak at my school from Morning Meetup. She spoke at my school last semester, towards the end of the semester, and she was hitting on the importance that everybody says sports is 90% mental, 10% physical, but everybody puts all the focus on the 10%. She's like, but if you want to really kill, you got to get out there and focus on the 90%, which is all mental. And that same way for entrepreneurship, man, it's 90% mental and 10% your skill set. So the more you develop the 90%, the stronger the 10% is going to get, because now you're developing the larger portion, which is that mindset, which is so important.
Wow. So with that mindset, what age, because we know you've been in entrepreneurship since you were in high school, at what age did it finally click to you in the sense of, if I really want to be big, or if I want to be better than I was yesterday as an entrepreneur, I have to change the way I'm thinking?
Man, like that actual conclusion came about maybe just a few years ago for me, man. And it's crazy because I was an entrepreneur doing the work. I was reading books. I was getting acquainted with it. But like I said, there was like, nobody never told me. Part of the struggle that came in my life, when I was at the lowest point in my life, nobody ever came to me like, yo, here's Think and Grow Rich, check this out. Here's Richest Man in Babylon. Here's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Here's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Like, there was just nobody around to feed me that information. And so I suffered from the ignorance of not knowing just basic things, you know what I mean? And those basic things that I didn't know cost me severely. I was just going through trial and error, put money into something, thinking, calling it an investment, when really an investment has an ROI. If it ain't an ROI, it ain't an investment, right? So I put money in, but can't take money out. you just going through trial and error. That's killing you. So, you know, I'll leave it at that.
Right. Much respect. How much money, what was your first investment that you lost some significant money on? Like let's say over $1,000.
Man, I had two big ones I can remember. I think one was like maybe 10,000. I had just got 10,000. I was like, I'm about to go. So one of the brothers that I'm cool with, I watched him move, right? He owned his own barbershop, beauty supply store. Like, he was the man, right? And he used to do these purse parties, and he would be killing. Like, he would have all the latest designer brands, you know, he would have everything. So I'm like, yo, I got 10 bands. I need to flip this money. How you think I should get in the game? He's like, yo, come see my man out west. We out in Chicago. He like, man, go see my man. He got a store on Madison. He can take care of you. Man, I spent 10 bands. I must have came home with Louis, Gucci. Man, I had Ed Hardy, which was popping at the time. I had Dolce & Gabbana. I had the perfumes, the colognes. I had the bags. I was on. I'm like, yo, I'm about to killing. I got everything you need. Only problem was I didn't have not a man, not a client. And I had just moved to Rockford, and I didn't know nobody. And so it never dawned on me, how you going to move all this work? You know what I'm saying? Like when I was younger and got involved in the streets, it made sense. Like, people about being a hustler in the streets, but you don't have to put an effort in to move drugs. Drugs gonna move themselves. You know what I mean? People come looking for it. So it's not a real effort. So I'm thinking, yo, people gonna come looking for it. Wrong. You know what I'm saying? Man.
Don't worry like that. They're not. It's not in that much of a demand.
Nah, not at all. You go into my attic in my house, man. I just had clothes, purses, shades, all the accessories. I just had everything. And I did do a couple parties. I met a few people. I did a couple parties, but like I didn't realize, one, that this is one of the poorer cities financially. Like the area I was at was very poor. So I'm like, man, the cost of living here is super cheap. That's because nobody had money. So when I'm popping out, like, yo, I got this Louis piece, and it's only, man, I'm selling it. It's $500 normally, but I hit you off with for $350. They're like, we ain't got it. I'm like, you ain't got $350? Like, let me get the 3-piece. They're like, we ain't got it. Like, damn, where am I at? You know what I'm saying? So, man, it's just, I spent all that money, didn't recover. And then there was a second thing. I don't know if you remember from back in the day, Larry Johnson, who played for the Charlotte Hornets, he had a water business called Everlasting Springs. And it was popping. Like, it was fresh water. It was not out the tap. You know, people was looking for clean water sources. So I'm like, yo, I'm going to invest in this. So I must have bought thousands of dollars worth of 5-gallon jugs of water, right? The first day I came back to my city, went crazy, selling water all over the place. I'm like, yo, we finna be out here. Day 2, my warm market was burned up.
The who?
My warm market was burned up on day 2.
Warm?
My warm market.
What's that?
Like, you know, your cold market and your warm market, you know. So my warm market, all the people I know personally, they are the ones who bought the water from me.
Oh.
Second day, I don't have a market to sell to anymore because everybody has 5-gallon jugs of water. So now my is like the way you see these desks in the classroom. These desks is a 5-gallon jug of water, right?
Right.
Look, it was crazy. So like, man, I got all this work and nowhere. I don't know nobody out here. And hustling water, it didn't even dawn on me. And also, the internet then wasn't like it is now. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I could just go jump on Facebook, post, and then my Facebook post gonna go crazy. Or Instagram wasn't even out yet. I think at that time, now we talking like maybe this was back like maybe 2013, something like around that, maybe 2012, something like that, 2011. So, you know, it wasn't like social media was booming like it is now, where you can go viral or something. No, you know what I'm saying?
You had to put footwork for real.
Yeah. So I didn't have no clients, man. I was like, yo, so I got a basement full of water. At least I know I'm never going thirsty. But other than that, and because once again, there was nobody in my community teaching entrepreneurship that could guide me, like as a mentor, as a coach, and help me. And nobody introduced me to books. It's not like you go on YouTube at the time and soak up game. It wasn't like that back then. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, I'm in this jam and I don't know how to get out. And that cycle kept repeating. I just kept blowing money. And like, man, how do I get out this jam that I'm in where I keep trying, right? I got the effort. I walked in faith, but I got an F. You know what I'm saying? I took the L.
You got an F in that class, but guess what? You still learned a long, valuable lesson, and it got you to where you're at now.
Facts.
So that's the beautiful thing about entrepreneurship. Being that you have already failed, you know what it looked like when it's about to come back. So you're like, no, let's turn a little bit. Turn a little bit.
It's an expensive lesson, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Man, facts, big facts. Because Lord knows, in my journey, I've just begun to really indulge, but it still don't cost me some lessons. And man, but to me, it builds the character of us as the entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
It really gives us that definition, like, to be stronger and fight through it, because every adversity is different, but you still got to get through it regardless.
Right.
Regardless, you have to get through it.
Man, that's facts.
So, that'll roll me into my next question. Who was your first mentor or coach?
Man, my first coach, right? So first 2 people weren't really coaches, right? I had a business partner. He wasn't a coach though. And then I found out he was a bad business partner. I found out too late. But my first like real coach I had is when I was building, when I was opening my beauty supply store. I paid for Beauty Supply Institute out of Atlanta, and I came to Atlanta and went to the conference that BSI had, and I met Professor Devin, who runs BSI. Now, my first time meeting a multimillionaire that looked like me, right? Like in person, like a regular dude. Like I could just call him and talk to him. You know what?
Right.
So like, because at that point, I'm like, man, only black multimillionaires I know is D-boys. I don't know no black multi. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I met Professor Devin, and going through BSI's system, the training he gave, being able to have him as a coach, it literally saved me 10 years worth of failures because I came in the game with the beauty supply store smoking. And it gave me all these new thoughts. It was like, yo, did you know you could write a book? Professor Devin got a few, and they're independent. So you don't even need a major publisher. You could go the route he went, and you could write your own book. I started writing my book right away, right? Hey, man, you know, he does coaching. You could be a coach. I jumped in the coaching game. Like, all these different things came about because I had a coach that was showing me stuff that I never dreamed before. Somebody looked like me can do these things. I'm like, yo, this is crazy.
Thanks. So your coach really changed the trajectory of you and saved you a bunch of time.
Time and money. The money I spent, I think we might have spent all together, it was like $15,000 to pick them up, and then we had like another $30,000, maybe another $20,000 after that. Something. Whatever we spent, we made it back. So it was like you spent to learn the lesson, and it's expensive up front on the front end, but now on the back end, you collecting the bag, and you're like, okay, this is worth it. So let's say we spent $60,000. I made $60,000 in a month, so I'm like, okay, the $60,000 we spent, it's all come back in 30 days. You know what I'm saying? So that result is like he is who he is because of those type of results. You know what I mean?
Oh wow, that's fire right there,
man.
That's real fire. So do you still have the beauty supply store now?
Interestingly, I'm trying to sell it.
Wow.
I have a client who is in the process. We're about to sell it. I don't know if I said this publicly or not. I don't know because people be counting my pockets, but I think we're about to sell it for like $250,000, right? Like selling this whole package with like my salons and everything. My salons, my beauty supply store. I'm doing the entire support, everything. So we're about to do it for like $250,000. And actually the contract is already drawn up, so it'll be done like this week.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you started a business and now you're about to sell it for profit.
Absolutely. Because I can't manage it, right? My coach right now is Marquell Russell, right, from Client Attraction. And so he came to my school and spoke. He flew in from Atlanta, and when I was talking to him, I was like, man, you know, it's hard to run a school and run a beauty supply store. They're two completely, totally different industries, different mindset, different everything. And I was like, man, I feel like my beauty supply store is suffering because it's like a neglected child. I put 110% into my school, so that leaves the beauty supply store with negative 10%.
So somebody feeling some type of way ain't gonna be like, look, I quit. I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah. So the beauty supply store, I mean, it's a cash cow. That's why I'm selling it. You know what I'm saying? It definitely can make your money in beauty supply. Women always want to look beautiful. Men need clips, they need wave grease. They, you know what I'm saying? Do rags, all that. So it's always there, but it's just very hard to manage two completely different industries. And something Marquell told me was, he said, because he's my coach for Client Attraction University, and he said, why don't you make $1 million off of your school and let that automate itself? Make $1 million off of your coaching, let it automate itself, and then you can jump into another industry. He said, but it's hard to be in two different industries at the same time because the way your energy is going to be divided, you're not going to be able to give either one 100%. And so even if you do 50-50, you're still going to get an F in the class. So I was like, that's deep. I was like, that's deep.
Because in a sense of, it's like, you was like, man, they both doing good numbers, but I got to make a decision.
Man, the school, see, the thing about the beauty supply for me was that it's good, right? We got national attention because Black beauty supply stores opening on rare occasions, right? Especially on the scale that we did. But I didn't with the school. I feel more so like when you opened up and you talked about being in your purpose. With the school, it's more aligned with my purpose in life, right? Not only do I get to impact lives individually, I'm creating a system that can outlive me. So the system can impact lives that can benefit my great grandchildren who I'll never get a chance to meet. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, yo, I want to go where the impact is at, because I'm one of those people that'll tell you, you know, don't follow your passion just because. If your passion ain't bringing you profit, go where the profit's at first and then come back for your passion. But in this instance, there's enough profit where the passion is at to at least get us to the next, you know, to the next level. So, yeah.
So I want to get into the school thing. I really want to get into that. Who gave you the idea to want to start a school first?
It's crazy, man, especially in our country. It's not the black folk that start schools, right? There's 3 private black schools. 2 of them are in Chicago. The 3rd one is mine, right? So, well, I shouldn't say that. I should say there's 3 schools that are recognized by Illinois State Board of Education. I should say it. You said what?
I said, talk to me now, because that's big. You recognized by the state.
Yeah. We went through the entire process. We can play. Our sports teams can compete for state titles. Next year, we're bringing in an international sports program to connect to our school. So we'll have international players next year, working on building dorms, all that type of stuff, right? Because we're by the State Board of Education. So the school, right? With the school, right? Right. With the school, I have a mean cough. With the school, I can put people in position to get generational wealth, and it's bigger than just the student, right? Because if a student comes home and is like, yo, mom, today in class we learned about X, Y, and Z, and my teacher told me I had to get an EIN, right? They say, what's an EIN? Now the parent's being educated, and the parent has to go do the research because the parent don't know. Right? If I teach the students, all right, this is how you build out a funnel. Now they go home to their parents like, yo, help me build a funnel. Their parents looking at them like, yo,
what are you talking?
You know what I'm saying? So it's man, the school is really fulfilling, man. It's really fulfilling to be able to impact and touch lives. And man, the potential is so crazy. Like, we got invited last year to the 100th centennial of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So we took maybe 15, 20 students down to Tulsa, Oklahoma for like 5 days to the 100th centennial event. And they honored us as the darlings of Black Wall Street and said that our school was the future of Black entrepreneurship. So like, that was super dope. And meet a bunch of celebrities, and you know, what's my man? He had the TV show on TV One. Roland Martin was out there, and my man from Vampire Diaries, what's his name? Jesse. I can't even think of everybody's name, but it was a dope event, right? They got to see the Black Panther party out, the new Black Panther party out doing their thing. They got to see so many people from across the country and chop it up with other entrepreneurs, young people, panel discussions, all kind of stuff, man. So it was dope to, you know, just to be in that environment, man, and to really soak that up. So, but yeah, the school is everything, man. The school has put me in places I never dreamed I'd be, and to meet people I never dreamed I would meet. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I don't want to cut you off, but we got to get some bills paid. We got to our sponsor, man. Hey, no job too big or small. Just call RGC. We specialize in construction and property management. What we over here at RGC do, we specialize in 110% customer satisfaction, because without our customers, we don't have any work and don't have products, goods, or service, because somebody has to consume it. And that's our beautiful customers. So whatever we have to do to make sure you're happy, if we have to go the extra mile, if we have to lose a few dollars to make sure you're satisfied, that's what we're going to do, because you're going to come back and you're going to tell your mama, your daddy, your uncle, and your dog. So that's what we love, and that's what we need, because it's too many beautiful black businesses that don't appreciate our customers. Over here, we know Brother Henry, he appreciate his customers because they keep coming back. In the beauty industry, if he sold faulty beauty products, they wouldn't come back. But they come, they love his customer service. That's what we do at RGC. We can be reached at 470-838-0966. Again, we can be reached at 470-838-0966. And we are a construction and property management and preservation company. Get at us so we can get that back. We can bring the value back to the asset, which is you, the client. We love y'all. So back to this amazing school that you have. What's the name of the school? Catch it in the beginning.
The school is named Kika First Entrepreneurial Academy.
You said Kika First?
Kika First. Like Kika. Yep, Kika First.
Oh, wow. Where did that name come from?
Long story short, my wife's name is Kishonda. They called her Kiki growing up. And then Vegas, and this comedian destroyed us at a Laugh Factory. But we brought the name back from Vegas.
Oh, wow. The name got some value there. It got some purpose and some weight with it.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. How long did it take you? Like, so, okay, what do you remember, like, around what year this idea popped in your head?
Yeah, this is only the third year the school has been open, right?
What?
This is
open for 3 years?
This is year 3, right? So, I'm gonna tell you. So our beauty supply store, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our beauty supply store has a second floor, and we would rent out our second floor for like events and stuff like that. But we realized one day we're only making money on Fridays and Saturdays, sometimes Sundays, because people are not renting the space out Monday through Thursday, and nobody was renting the space out during the daytime. So we're like, we're losing all this money. We gotta figure it out. So we for ideas that we could do to make money during the daytime. So we're like, yo, what if we did a school? We looked it up, and we found out running a school was extremely expensive. So we put nah, we can't do a school, right? Didn't even think about it, like left it behind. As the universe will have it, right? Those signs that I was talking about earlier, when you're it takes you years to get those 25 messages, right? But when you're in tune, see them when they happen. So as fate will have it, man, my wife meets this lady, and this lady has one child in her school, and she's got a private school. So my wife's like, how you got a school with only one child? I was like, is it homeschool? She's like, no, it's an actual school. So like, how is this happening, right? Well, she said that she was retiring after this student graduated, so she wasn't taking more students. And she showed us the game of what she was doing, how we could start a school with no teachers. So initially, we was like, wait a second, we could start a school with no teachers. Because payroll was the biggest expense, having to pay other people, like now we can start a school, we don't need teachers, we good, right? So we got in, and that was our pick. That was my thinking, like, we're gonna start this school, it's gonna be revolutionary because we're not gonna have any other teachers. But then we found out, oh, Montessori does this, all these other schools do it. All these schools have like these self-paced type of schools where students work at their own pace, so you're not individual. So we started, like, what can we do to make our school more special? So I said, well, we're big into entrepreneurship. You know what? I got it. Every student gonna have to start a small business, right? Boom. That was thing one. We was like, all right, somebody gonna come bite that right away. We need more to separate ourselves. So, well, how about every student also has to publish a minimum of 1 book, right? So that became the basis, right? We didn't have teachers. We had Black history. We had STEM. We had all these things. And then we had this entrepreneurship and authorship piece. Matter of fact, I got some of my students' books in here. But so I'm like, boom, all right, cool. So, man, I went out and I was speaking at different events, and we started the school with my daughter, the little boy we babysat, and we ended up getting 5 other students, right? We had 7 students. From the 7 students in our first semester to our space where we was at, we outgrew the space we had. Space. So we had to move. We moved to a new location, and within another half semester, of course, we outgrew the space, but COVID had hit, right? And when COVID hit, COVID actually made our school better because our school had to adjust, right? So none of the students missed a beat because remember, we don't have teachers. So just COVID hit and we couldn't be in school anymore didn't mean our students wasn't still getting their education. They still was able to get it, right? So COVID hit, we was like, yo, we got to find a way to go virtual in case they don't bring back physical school, right? And that virtual program allowed us to reach more people. So before I knew it, I looked up, we had students in Texas. We had students in Atlanta. We had students in Detroit. We had students in California. We had, like, it was going crazy. I'm like, yo, we're picking up virtual students from everywhere. My man hit me in St. Louis. He's the main principal over like 16 schools. What's his name? Adonis. He's like, yo, I got 1,000 students down here. We need you to come open up a Kika first in St. Louis. I'm like, yo, this is really booming. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you, from that, I was watching Social Proof podcast. I seen the episode with A. Donahue Baker, and I was like, I watched it, and I told my wife, like, yo, I'm finna work with this brother. My wife was like, whatever. But I was trying to get my wife to watch the podcast so she could see who he was. And she finally watched it. So I was like, yo, I'm about to reach out to him. So I sent emails, text messages. I sent like anything you could send, DMs. I was on everything, right?
But I know you coming.
Man, the team blocked everything, right? They were like, no, sir. No pass in, right? But he must have saw one of them. Because I got an email like 5 minutes after I sent the last thing off from him that was like, yo, this is A. Donahue Baker. Here's my personal cell. I'm about to call you in 5 minutes. What's your math? I was like, stop playing. No way. What? Phone ring. It's A. Donahue Baker. I'm like, I'm going crazy. Like, oh. So now I'm telling him about the school, and he was talking about his business, and he was saying how they were about to partner with LeBron James school. I think what is the I Promise or I Believe or something like that.
I didn't know LeBron had a school, honestly.
Yeah, LeBron got a school. It's huge. It's in like Akron or Cleveland or something like that. It's huge.
Oh wow.
So when I told him about the school, he was like, yo, I think I want to link with you. And I'm like, huh? So I was telling him the ideas, and he said something to me that was so crazy. He said, it's my belief that in the next 10 years, we're going to have our first teenage billionaire that looks like us. And he said, I believe that it's going to come from them developing an app or technology or something that's going to change the world. He's like, and your school is creating the environment to produce that student. So I'm going to rock with you. So A. Donahue Baker became a mentor, and it was lights out from there. From that point forward, like that's how I got. So crazy part. I know I'm running on. But crazy.
Oh, no, go ahead. Free game.
I tell him, this was a few months ago. I tell him that, man, I really want to meet David Shams because, you know, the podcast is popping, and I just think he's a good brother. I don't know nothing about like morning meetup or I don't know nothing about none of that stuff. I don't know what none of this stuff is. So A. Donahue Baker tells me, oh, that's my man. He said, do this. He's like, go get go buy a ticket and come out to Atlanta. It's an event coming up, right? I didn't even know what it was. I'm like, huh? He said, like, yeah, it's an event. I'm gonna take you out there because I told him it was on my my vision board for the year was to meet David Shams. So when I told him, he was like, I got you, don't trip. Fly out to Atlanta, I got you. I'll meet you down in a few days. Okay. So I'm like, yeah. I didn't know at the time the event was the Social Proof alumni dinner, right?
Wow.
So I'm in Atlanta. It's so much crazy stuff that happened up to that. Anyway, long story short, I'm in Atlanta. I pull up to the event. I see him 500 downstairs. It's an all-white event. I see him 500 downstairs, and I'm like, yo, that's him 500. Like, I'm in my groupie mode, right? Straight like, because I never got being I never dreamed my school would take me to these type of places, right? And me in all white, he's like, yo, what up, son? I'm like, yo, what's up? Yo, you him? He's like, yo, you here for the event? I'm like, yeah, it's also around the corner. You got to take the elevator up. It's a rooftop party. So I'm like going crazy, right? Get upstairs. It's VIP only. If your name out on the list, you can't get in. I'm like, yo, this is too crazy. I'm walking through. I like look down over the balcony, and the entire event is like gold, silverware, gold. Everything is real gold. So I'm like, yo, where am I at? I go look over the other balcony to go downstairs into the event. I see everybody from Social Proof that I was watching in these podcasts is present. Like I'm seeing Skip and Zoe. I'm seeing him 500. I'm seeing Ash Cash. I'm seeing like everybody's present. I'm like, yo, this is the craziest thing I've like, and I got there based on the school. So I sit at the table, man, and my table is all these huge entrepreneurs. I'm sitting next to Marquell Russell. I don't even recognize him, right? But I recognize him, but I don't. I'm like, yo, man, you look familiar. So he asked me, like, what you do? I was like, I got this school, whatever. And I was like, yo, would you come speak at my school? He said, yeah, I got you. Don't trip. I'll fly out there. Like, when I told him about it, we were chopping it up. And I was like, man, I know you somewhere. He's like, you from Atlanta? I was like, no, I'm not from Atlanta. I was like, maybe from Chicago? He's like, no, I'm from Atlanta. So I'm like, man. Then when I leave later that night, I get back and I'm checking my thing. I see the paid ad playbook pop up. I'm like, oh, that's what I was sitting next to. I should have been asking questions. Like,
it's dropped.
Crazy. But like, the school got me to like, and that's tip of the iceberg, man. Like the schools got me connected. We're probably plugged with like 50 different millionaires. I got a billionaire down in Houston, Antonio T. Smith Jr. From ATS Business University that supports the school, backs the school. Like, I actually paid him $1,500. He did something special. He just wanted to see if we would do it. Like, if y'all pay $1,500, I'll run your business for you and generate revenue for you to get your school where it needs to be, so you can at least be at $500,000 through your school, so you have your operations taken care of to help you grow it out. I'm like, I never dreamed I'd get a billionaire to work for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. So,
investment.
Man, the school is lit, man. It's lit.
Yeah, that sounds super nice. That sounds super, super lit.
Man.
So,
blessings.
Okay, so now, more than anything, what are some of the thoughts that are running through your mind, like, with some, because we know you still have challenges that pop up as you guys are running this school. What's your attitude and energy towards could you give us, like, give me 3 obstacles that have popped up that you couldn't have imagined since you started the school, and the ways that you overcame them and came out better on the backside.
Bet. Obstacle 1. So this was the first year we hired teachers, right?
Okay.
And I hired teachers because I needed my staff to get bigger. So now my staff, I probably have about 15 people on payroll, right?
Okay.
So, lots of challenges come. When you're black.
Hey,
man,
shout out to us as Black Kings. We fight through it.
You're from the hood. You want to help your people, right?
Right.
So you go out and you do the best you can for your people to put them in position that normally mainstream society is not going to give them, right? So because my school is private, I can hire teachers that don't need a college degree, or not a college degree. They don't need a teaching certificate, or they don't even need a degree, to be honest with you, right? So the number one thing I look for in teachers, I was like, man, I can work with you if you need training or you don't have a degree. Like, I can help get you in school. Whatever the case may be, I can work with most things, but you got to love the children that you're working with, right? And this produces the obstacle. I hired people that love the children, but obstacle number 1, when schools have certain certifications for a reason, because some things can't be taught, right? Like professionalism, either you got it or you don't. Right. Certain things, as a teacher, you would figure, as a teacher, they're going to do X, Y, and Z, because common sense, but common sense ain't so common. So obstacle 1 is your hiring practices, right? Okay. Because the people you bring on your team and your staff represent you. And if you draw the wrong people in, they still represent you. So now it's bigger than just me and my wife. Now we have a school board. Now we're 501c3. Now we're recognized in the state. So anything somebody does at the end of the day is going to reflect back on me. And so obstacle 1 is the balance between hiring and trying to put your people on, but also keeping a good face so you can grow your institution, right? That's a huge obstacle that, luckily, shout out to Rachel Rainey. She's the dopest. She's head of my HR department, and she knows her stuff. So shout out to Rachel Rainey. She's the best. Obstacle 2, I did not realize, right? I wanted to discount tuition for some of my students because we're in a low income area and I don't want to leave our students behind. The whole purpose of getting to school and teaching entrepreneurship is so that students who live in neighborhoods that don't have a lot of resources can become the resource themselves, right? Because now they're hiring people. Now they know how to make money. Now they know how to move. They know if you put them in the desert, they're gonna survive because they understand how to make money, right? So that's my idea. That's the goal. The reality is, though, right? When you go that route, you also bring on the problems that route brings on. So in my city, which is Rockford, Illinois, they have according to Forbes magazine, Rockford has the 3rd worst educational system in America. All right. And so what that equates to, let me give you some numbers so you can understand the full picture.
Okay.
The superintendent of the public schools here said that only 40% of students in Rockford enter kindergarten ready, and that number carries through all the way to senior year, meaning there's a 60% dropout rate, right? 60% don't graduate. So all 4 of the high schools in my city that are public are labeled national dropout factors. National dropout factories, all of them, right? The average reading level for the city of Rockford is like 8th grade, right? So lots of problems here. Also, Rockford has the highest unemployment for blacks in the country. So the average unemployment rate for black people is like 8-something%. In Rockford, it's like 3%. So crime, of course, no education, but no education makes entrepreneurship very hard. Because if you come to me and you can't count, read, or write, it's hard to teach you entrepreneurship, right? So the second obstacle is dealing with the poor educational system, because the students that are implanted in my school, and let me say, luckily, my system is set up so that students can knock out 3 or 4 grades if they want to in a single year, right?
Oh.
I got a little girl from California. She just turned 7. She completed the 1st grade, the 2nd grade, and halfway through 3rd grade in the 1st semester of school this semester. So by the time she finishes school, the semester we're in now, she may very well be in the 4th or 5th grade at 7, right? My daughter, you said what?
Because you're accredited.
Yeah, we're accredited, yes, sir. But accreditation only matters for high schools, though, because you don't start getting credits till you get to high school.
For real?
Yeah. So when people say accreditation, they think college, right? College has accreditation. Your school can have accreditation, but it only matters for 9th grade through 12th grade. Because 8th grade on down, students not getting credits. They getting pass or fail. They have to live up to they have to be able to pass certain standards, but it's not a credit thing until you get to high school.
Oh wow! See that's some free game I just received.
Yeah. We learned that along the way too. So, but dealing with the students' education, a lot of our students are so far behind that we have to be able to now create this customized, individualized education that if a student comes and they're 12 or 13 years old, they're supposed to be in 7th grade, but academically they're performing at a 3rd grade level. I now have to be able to create this educational curriculum that can bring them through the 3rd grade, the 4th grade, the 5th grade, the 6th grade, and put them in the 7th grade in one school year, right? So that way they can be where they're supposed to be at the start of the next year, and then they can go ahead if they want to. But those issues affect our community very heavy, all of the basics of education. And so that obstacle is tough. Like, you got to be built. You really got to be dedicated. And you got to love with the community you're serving, because our people will drive you crazy if you don't, right? So academics is another obstacle that overcoming that obstacle, it would make or break you, right? And then the third thing is, and I don't know if it's my age, I'm 39, right?
Okay.
So I don't know if it's my age or what, but I don't understand parents. Parents is obstacle number 3.
I bet that's probably one of your biggest, ain't it?
Yo, parents be tweaking. Damn. Listen, okay. Because of how I was raised, right?
Right.
I'm from that era. I'm from an era where, like, my mama made me do certain things. Like, I had to say please and thank you. I couldn't disrespect adults. Like, come in when the street lights on. Like, certain stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm an 80s baby. So in the midst of that, I'm from that crack cocaine era. So neighborhoods was declining, right?
Right.
So I understand that. But here's my thing. I'm also a parent. My daughter goes to my school. She'll graduate high school. Or she'll be graduating high school about like 13, 14 years old. She just turned 12, right? So I get it. But parents do stuff that's so wild to me. Like, we have parents that took their child out of school, and then we didn't see the child back in school for like 2 months. And then one day, right before we go on winter break, the child just pops up. They're like, yo, I'm here for school, but doesn't have any books. Like, call the mom. The mom is like, oh yeah, making excuses. We had caught truancy. Like, we don't even see your child for 2 months. We know you go to school here no more. We thought he got withdrew from the school. You know what I'm saying? Like, just madness. So dealing with parents is, man, if you want to run a school, be prepared to deal with some personalities, man. We had some little dramas, man, and I'm like, yo, you gotta be here for the long run. Like, you gotta want to do it, man, because if not, man, parents will drive you crazy. Like, certain stuff that they didn't do with their child, because you're the institution, they expect you to do it, right? So they never read to their children, or taught their children to read, or taught their children the alphabet. And so they missed out 100% on that opportunity. But 110% of the solution to fix that opportunity, they want to put in your hands, right? As a teacher, as staff, whoever you are. So you just got to be very patient, man. And you, if you don't have patience, that obstacle will kill you. Like, we'll have staff fighting teachers if you don't, if you're not patient, man. You got to have patience to deal with that, man. So definitely, those 3 obstacles, I think, man, that's how you overcome it, though. It goes back to your mindset. You know what I mean? What's your mindset? I recognize that a lot of the people we serve and a lot of the people we deal with, the mindset isn't there yet. You know what I mean? Like, we have to be patient with them because it's our responsibility to develop that mindset so that we can converse on a higher level, so that we can build on a higher level, so we can grow on a higher level. And that's, as an entrepreneur in my position, like, that's my responsibility. You know what I'm saying?
Much respect. Much respect. So me being that I have a son 4, right? I know you guys said you started in kindergarten. So if I'm just a parent, how would I enroll my sons into your school?
That I don't think we have kindergarten online, if I'm not mistaken, because it's very hard to do virtual with kindergartens, right? They're not gonna, they don't understand that, and it's really not fair for them either. I think the youngest we have virtually is maybe like, well, actually, I have a first grader. I do have a first grader, but her parents, when we met with the parents and did the intake meeting, our parents were like, no, she's disciplined. She can sit there throughout the school day and, she can learn. And she's in California, so she gets on 2 hours after. She gets on at 10 a.m., which is 8 a.m. her time, right? Okay. And then she's only on from 8 a.m., 10 a.m. her time until 12. So she's only on for 2 hours. Okay. So killing the game. But that's because she's younger. You can't ask young people to sit in front of Zoom, what I'm saying, hours on end. But to answer your question, people can go to the website, www. I gotta spell it out. KIFERS, the word academy.org. That's KiCkersAcademy.org. And they can register online. You can set up meetings. If people want to set up meetings, you can meet with me and my wife and go over, any details. We have special packages for like scholarships, in-state scholarships, out-of-state scholarships, all types of things like that. So we do virtual tours, all those different types of things. So that's the best way, is going through the website. That's the best way. If they want to reach out to me personally, they can email principal at KIKIFERS academy.org, or you can hit my coaching email. Just do the principal one. I'll get it. I got like 10 emails, other things. But yeah, you can, or if you call the school, also our phone number's on there. You can always talk to us too. So
awesome. So if you were talking to your 24-year-old self on the other end of this Facebook Live, what would you tell them?
Man, I would say, number one, I would give them like a list of probably 10 books. Say, go read these 10 books, and I need you to read these. I need the 10 books knocked out this month. And then start grinding on your entrepreneur game, right? Because certain books changed my life and perspective. So like Think and Grow Rich. Once I read Think and Grow Rich, like everything changed. You know what I'm saying? Everything changed when I did Think and Grow Rich. So Think and Grow Rich, I would give them How to Win Friends and Influence People. Influence is everything, right? You monetize based on your influence. Right. So I would give them Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Let them understand the way you think. No, it's not that we can't afford that. It's how can we afford that? I would give them that. I would probably give them The Richest Man in Babylon. Like, just read through it. It's weird at first, but you'll get it. You know what I mean? You gotta learn how to invest. Man, I would, give them these core books, and then maybe Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. There's so many good books. Right. I would 10 core books that really affected my life, and tell them, once you get these 10 books down, now we can talk. Those books aren't going to give you everything, right? But it's like going to math class. If you have the book without the teacher, it's not as effective as having the book and the teacher. But if you get these books and you read before the class starts, now you'll know what you're looking for as far as a coach goes and get you a coach. Those two things, get those books, get that coach, go to class. Like man, I would have been a millionaire before 30 if I would have had if I would have known I need to get these books, get this coach, get this class, and do exactly what the coach says to do. Run, that's the play to run.
I feel like you're talking to me right now, bro. Oh, because I'm definitely gonna I'm shooting that goal clean out the sky.
Absolutely.
I'm shooting it out the sky. I'm telling it right now on this podcast. I'm shooting it out the sky regardless.
Man, in 2022, it's so, man, 2022 has so many options available to make money that it's like, it don't even make sense. I was accidentally making some money. Me and my wife own the publishing company for our school that publishes all the books.
Oh, so, and I love for you when we get off of here. I'll it up.
So like, yo, I started posting stuff like about the books. Like, yo, you got like, hold on, let me see. I can grab some. I got grab some. I don't even know what this. These are children's books, right? There's two children's books I just grabbed out of the box that was next to me. I don't know if you can see. It's like it's a few boxes of books left over. There's still stacks of books in the back, whatever but those are their books that they created, right?
Wow.
Matter of fact, hold on. Let me do my self-promotion. If you haven't got Free Jewels, my book, make sure you get that Entrepreneur's Guide to Success. It's hilarious.
Oh, where can I find that book at?
This book is on Lulu.com. Go to Lulu.com. Just type in Free Jewels. It'll pop right up. You can get this book today.
Okay.
But yeah, so we own the publishing company in the school, right? And so the city of Rockford, where we're at, the mayor had asked us to apply for this grant. He was like, man, I think y'all get this grant. Doing what you do, you could really change things in the city. So we actually qualified, and we got to go do this little hearing thing or whatever. But I'm going to do this initiative where if we win the grant, I'm going to take 50 clients from the city of Rockford for free and make them all published authors. And for those who want to do those who want to get on our express plan, we can make you a published author in about 2 weeks if they go through the express route. Now, if they want to write their own book and do it how they want to do it, and if they want it to be a certain way, then it may take longer. But if they want our help and they want us to help guide them on how to do it, how to put it together, how to create it, and then get it published for you, nothing. We do that in 2 weeks or less. And so my big goal that I want to do starting off this year is I want to take 50 clients and make them all published authors, and then help them with their marketing and everything, help push their books out there, help make them successful. To me, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? That's dope. So adults was like, well, y'all always put stuff on for the children, and we have clients that publish books through us, but it's just not the bread and butter of what we do.
Right.
Never crossed my mind that so many adults wanted to get books published. I was like, oh, you do that? That's nothing. Like that's nothing.
So, okay, could you give all the listeners a gem of the day that you feel like could change their life?
Absolutely. The gem of the day, I got this from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and it's simple, but it's so deep, right? So I'm gonna give you both two different versions, two different things from it. Number one, he gave the simple statement. He said, if you conceive it and you believe it, you can achieve it, right? And it sounds so simple till you start breaking it down. Like I can teach on that one phrase for hours. Like it's so deep. There's so much science to taking it from idea phase to manifesting. There's so much in it, you know what I mean? So, but the short version, if you conceive it and you believe it, you can achieve it. It's true. Like, what makes us gods in the sense of, the children of God or whatever, the same imagination God used to create the universe is the same imagination he gave us. So when you tap into your God power,
there's no sky.
None. Ain't no God. You can't tell him, hey man, you already got 9 planets. He out creating planets and other galaxies and other, you know what I'm saying?
Even like what? We can't even. That ain't even. We ain't there yet. Cause he him.
That's number
We
one.
don't understand him because we're not him.
No, man. Number two, I would say for any couples that are watching, right? Any couples, if you're a couple, Napoleon Hill said in Think and Grow Rich that the strongest, it might not have been Think and Grow Rich. It might have been the series he did with it, but one of the two. But he said the strongest mastermind alliance that you can have is with husband and wife, right? And at first I didn't get it, but he said, as a mastermind, if you mastermind with your significant other, you all can achieve more in 1 year together than you will be able to achieve in 7 years individually. And in all of my businesses, my wife has been right there, and we've been able to boom, like just the growth. We're the fastest growing private school in our city. And they haven't had a school grow this fast in our state, a private school grow this fast in our state ever. So there's something to that mastermind alliance where you find somebody that's y'all on the same frequency and like that's going higher. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's truly amazing right here. This was a really dope interview, and I really appreciate your time, Mr. Henry. And I'm not gonna keep you too long on the podcast, but once I get the studio, because it's coming.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna have to get you down to Atlanta so we can get an in-person interview with you and your wife, so I can pick both of y'all brain together and see the science.
Absolutely, man. I would look, man. Let me know. We'll fly out to Atlanta. It ain't nothing.
Hey, say less. So go ahead, and this is your sponsorship. Shout your school out.
Oh yeah, let me give a huge shout out to Kikafur's Entrepreneurial Academy, the largest private national entrepreneur academy producing six-figure earning students while they are in school. Look for Kikafur's Academy to pop up next semester, one in Atlanta and one in Houston and perhaps one in St. Louis. But you can always go to www.kikafurs, Kifers academy.org for more information to stay up to date on our latest things. You can also join our email list so you can be in tune and plugged in, and you'll see great people like Antonio T. Smith Jr., A. Donahue Baker, Marquell Russell. The list goes on. You'll see great people supporting this thing, and we really want to impact and change lives and change the trajectory of a life. So look out for all of that. It's coming soon, and we're super excited to be able to serve the people the best way we know how.
Let's get it. Let's go. That was another amazing interview. And I know somebody's life is going to be changed because of this interview. If we don't do nothing but change one life per episode on the podcast, doggone it, I feel really great. Because that one life is going to trickle down to so many more lives. So y'all already know what to do. Go ahead and go give him a follow because y'all going to see his information when y'all watching it live. Mr. Henry, it was amazing, and it was an honor to interview you. I can't wait to see where this is going to take you guys in the school, and I'm coming. We're going to work together. We're definitely going to work together. And Steady Steppers, stay tuned. Y'all have to be tapped into every platform, YouTube, Spotify, Drizo, because you never know where I'm going to drop an episode. The audio is going to be on Spotify and Drizo, but this gonna be a Facebook exclusive. We're not dropping this on YouTube, so that's why you guys have to be tapped in. Y'all have to be tapped in everywhere because the content is coming, and I'm not making no excuses. I'm just executing. So I want everybody to execute this year because we have a clear example of what execution can get you. Mr. Henry is execution. This man has a school. I guarantee y'all, when he started trapping out the locker, he didn't think he was going to be having his own school. He trapping education now. He trapping real life education, changing kids' lives with motivation, not drugs. That's what you call a game changer. That's a 180 right there, and that's some real motivation. If this right here isn't motivation, you don't want to be motivated. That's just real talk. So, again, Mr. Henry, I appreciate you. We're going to end this live, and I'm finna hit your line because we got some work to do.
Let's get it.
We love y'all, and y'all be great, man, because y'all are worthy, and God loves y'all, and so do we. Be great and tell somebody else they're great too. Let's get it. Let's go, Steady Steppers. Peace.